Frustration. Frustration sounds like something negative, but frustration is part of the path of those who want to grow up, to move forward in any dimension of their lives, who want to become a better person, who want to reach something. Those who want any of these good things will have frustration knocking on their doors sooner or later. Actually, there is no frustration without will. Take a note. When you're facing an obstacle, the person who really honestly says, but I didn't really want it anyway, I just don't care about it, that person does not hold any frustration because they didn't really want it. And if you don't want something, there was going to be no frustration because it's something you never wanted in the first place. So this means that frustration is part of a searching process. In a classroom, if you have 100 students, you always have those 10 folks at the back just playing and mocking around, and there will not be frustration because they're not able to learn, because they don't have the desire to learn. Without the desire, without the will, there is no frustration. My name is Arata of Arata Academy, and I'm asking you your permission to read a little bit of an email that we got here and touched me quite a lot. And he starts the email by saying that he was never a great student and sometimes his mind wandered around without focus. Then he reveals a few personal details. Obviously, I'm not going to share that part with you because of his privacy, but there is one important bit of his email that really touched me. It motivated me to record this video for all of you here in our channel. He starts by saying, I caught myself in a situation a little bit complicated and embarrassing in which I have to study, I have to be focused on my work. Sometimes I notice that I'm frustrated, I'm depressed, I'm angered because I'm not able to understand right away some of the ideas, some stuff as my co-workers do, and in all honesty, I'm just feeling dumb, and that for me is very complicated. I cannot even read a book, and that leaves me pretty distressed. I wish I could read some content about the stuff I do. My work involves a lot of certifications. If I get these certifications, I can really advance my career. But I'm limited, and sometimes, almost every time, I give up studying. Well, first of all, thanks a lot for your trust when you decided to send us this message. Actually, I've noticed that recently you enrolled to the course How to Learn Faster, and I really hope that those classes will make all the difference for you during the upcoming steps. But I want now to tell the good news right away. Your email is showing to us something really valuable. In your email is very clear. There is a will. There is desire to get to know things and to improve yourself. Remember, without will, there's not going to be frustration. The easiest way to solve your problems would just be to ignore all your challenges ahead, and not to stress your mind and say, whatever, I'm gonna have a beer at the beach and forget about it, I'm gonna be laughing, and give up on your dreams. But in your email, it is very clear that you have already visualized all these professional gains and financial benefits that are reachable if you get those certifications. It's pretty obvious for you that you also have personal fulfillment. You're going to have a satisfaction if you're better able to learn in a more efficient way, and also gain respect from your peers, and above all, respect for yourself, because your self-esteem will thank you for going after your dreams. So for you, and for everybody who's watching this video and identified with the story, I want to write something in your notebook. The ability that I'm going to cultivate and fortify is the ability to overcome frustration. Frustration takes place when we have a desire and we cannot overcome some type of an obstacle that is blocking us from achieving our plans. And then, at that moment, two things can happen. Frustration wins, and then you give up, or you beat frustration, and then you safeguard the conquest of your goal. But it is quite comfortable for me if we come here and say, blah, 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 some motivational talk, and don't give up on your dreams, believe in you, and stuff like that. I want to do something more than that, something more than motivation. I want to equip you, to empower you. And to do so, I'm going to share 2 practical tips that will help you to overcome frustration. And the practical tip number 1 is called commitment. I'm going to give a powerful technique to you, but this has to be used carefully because I want to overcome frustration. Of course, my main goal is to put myself in a situation in which I will be absolutely sure that I will not give up. Remember, we have two choices, right? Either we give up on our plans and then frustration wins, or I move on with my journey, then I beat that frustration and I keep walking. So I want more commitment. And there are several ways to improve my commitment. And one of them is to be responsible in front of other people. For instance, let's say I am doing some type of a course on the other side of town, so I have to drive my car to get to the school. And then I realized that some of my colleagues at that school, they are my neighbors. They live more or less nearby where I live. So what can I do? I can commit myself and tell these people, hey, I can give a lift for you guys. And by doing so, even on that day that I'm feeling particularly lazy and I just want to skip class and say, no, I'm going to stay at home, I have an extra incentive to go because I have committed myself to give a lift for these people. So I have to be more accountable. If I need to learn a new ability that can be used in my work, I can commit myself in front of my team and say, hey, see, I will solve this problem within this reasonable time frame. And then what happened? Now I am committing myself and I have a bigger pressure to reach that outcome. And then I have to force myself to get all the resources for that. So I said in the beginning that this technique has to be used carefully because I cannot just go and commit myself to things that are too much beyond my ability. Because in that case, I'm just going to be stressed. So I only suggest that you use this first technique, commitment, in the situations in which you know you have the ability, the capacity to be able to deliver. It's something reachable, because otherwise you just get more frustrated. In all the situations in which the goal ahead is extremely hard, extremely complex, what I suggest is tip number 2. It's called the baby steps. This is the most simple technique to implement, and it will give you a lot of results if you are currently frustrated. Probably, the goal ahead is too complicated. Let's assume I can't speak French, but I want to. So what should I do? Should I get a very complex book? Should I get the complete works of medieval French literature? Of course not. I'm going to choose something easy, a comic book or a little book for children. If I want to learn how to cook, I'm going to start with something really simple, just to fry an egg or do an omelette. Instead of deciding that I want to get the first place in a very difficult exam, instead of that I will say, oh no, my goal is just to study this chapter, one chapter of that subject. And then I'll test myself many times about that particular chapter. So in other words, I want to keep feeding my wish to move forward. What I don't want is to allow frustration to knock me out, to put me down, to make me angry, or to make me give up on everything. If I leave everything behind, frustration wins. So the way to not allow frustration win is simply to set goals that are more realistic, which are easier to get done, and then you move forward little step after little step. These are the baby steps. Before summing it up, just a quick word. Don't feel mad about frustration. When we say we want to beat frustration, you may think that we're dealing with some kind of a monster or an enemy that needs to be taken down. Instead of that, what I suggest is to think of frustration as a signal, as a reminder that there is desire, there is will, and that is good. Frustration is also an indicator that you're looking forward to grow up, to face uncomfortable situations, to get better. And see, if I never get frustrated, that means that I'm probably not taking things too seriously. I'm not trying to get beyond my comfort zone or fulfill my true potential. A growing life, sooner or later, will present us frustrating moments, and that is normal. It's part of it. It's part of the process. It is actually a healthy indicator that we are looking forward to extending our outlooks. There is a will to reach something that is going to bring us a greater good. So this was our video on frustration. I hope it was useful for you. And if you want to keep receiving more videos like this one, you can sign up to our mailing list at arataacademy.com. Further, I would also like to invite you to take a look at our fast course, Focus. It will help you a lot, and you can go to arata.se/focus course. All the best, and talk to you soon.